This essay example, as well as thousands of others, is available in text format on our website for free and without registration. Simply Google Ivy Panda Free Essays.
Introduction. This paper will briefly discuss irony as used by Charles Dickens in A Tale of Two Cities. Irony can be said to be coincidences that are interesting but surprising at the same time. Ironical instances are contradictory in most cases. Irony, as used in this work of art, A Tale of Two Cities, will be discussed in three forms: verbal, dramatic, and situational irony. Verbal irony. Words can be used to express irony. This happens when words used do not mean the direct meaning but rather the opposite. The author used verbal irony in A Tale of Two Cities quite well in many instances. In the book, we see Mr. Lorry referring to himself as being business-minded. He tells Miss Minette that he is one, "Miss Minette, I am a man of business." At this point, Mr. Lorry depicts a very different image of himself from what we see at the end of the story. In the end, Mr. Lorry is not a businessman as such but a very kind and friendly fellow. Another instance of verbal irony appears when the messenger refers to Jerry Cruncher as an honest businessman. "It wouldn't do for you, Jerry. Jerry, you honest tradesman, it wouldn't suit your line of business." Reading further in the book, Jerry Cruncher is not portrayed as an honest businessman as portrayed in the statement above. He is seen lying to his son by not telling him what he does but just telling him that he goes to fish, thus, he does not disclose his business to him. Another verbal irony comes out through Monsieur Marquis, who claims he can care for his son. This is ironic because Monsieur Marquis cannot even care for himself. Monsieur Marquis ends up killing Gaspard's child, and Gaspard kills him because of that. Another verbal irony appears in the way Sidney Carton and Stryver are referred to. Stryver, who is referred to as a fellow of delicacy, is proved to be a fellow of no delicacy at the end of the story, while Sidney Carton, who was referred to as a fellow of no delicacy, is proved to be a fellow of delicacy at the end of the story. It should be noted that what Sidney Carton did for Darnay proved him a fellow of delicacy. Dramatic irony. Dramatic irony is the type that comes out when there is a contradiction between what the reader thinks and what the character knows. When the author writes about the French Revolution, the readers have the feeling that the revolution will bring positive changes. In an actual sense, the revolution is seen as a reign that does not bring any good thing but terror. Another instance of dramatic irony is displayed in the life of Carton. The reader is likely to view Carton as being drunk for the rest of his life. "It is a far, far better thing that I do than I have ever done. It is a far, far better rest that I go to than I have ever known." Carton replaced Darnay at the guillotine because they greatly took after each other. Using the advantage of close resemblance, Carton is able to save Darnay from the guillotine by appearing in the court and then taking the guillotine. Another dramatic irony occurred when Dr. Manette was convicted and sent to prison. This took place when the note he sent concerning the Evermond brothers landed in the wrong hands, and instead of the brother going to prison for the crime of rape, he instead was convicted and imprisoned for 18 good years. Situational irony. Situational irony occurs when the end result is quite different from the reader's expectations. The situation of Dr. Manette is a good example of situational irony. Dr. Manette brings revolution, but a dramatic turn of events has him locked up in prison. In the end, we see Dr. Manette as a father-in-law to the son of one of the Evermond brothers. This is unexpected, as Dr. Manette was imprisoned because of the Evermond brothers. The desire of Madame Defarge to kill Dr. Manette can also be viewed as ironic. Madame Defarge wishes to kill Dr. Manette because he had become a brother-in-law to one of the Evermond brothers who was involved in the crime of rape. This is quite ironic because, in reality, Dr. Manette was imprisoned wrongly. Conclusion. Charles Dickens used irony so well to enhance the reading of the book. As discussed above, the author applied all three forms of iron to make the book quite interesting. Iron played an important role in bringing out suspension in the book. It is also used cleverly to keep the reader glued to reading the book. It is obvious that the author tactfully used the iron to make the book quite interesting. Did you like this use of irony in A Tale of Two Cities by Charles Dickens sample? To get more works like this one, make sure to check out the free database of academic paper examples at ivypanda.com. You will find thousands of samples for all your study needs, without even having to register.